Hi there, I'm Mistel Godlewski, an American girl who called the cornfields of Illinois home until over 10 years ago when I started navigating the chaos of life overseas. If you've ever felt that itch for something more, that whisper telling you to break free from the ordinary, you're in the right place. This podcast is your backstage pass to the wild ride of moving abroad. I'm here to pull back the curtain on the real journey, sharing stories that are funny, dramatic, and sometimes downright unbelievable. We'll explore the gritty details, from battling culture shock and navigating tricky visa processes to celebrating those small victories that make it all worth it. So whether you're daydreaming about a new life abroad or already in the thick of it, grab your passport and let's explore what it really means to live life beyond borders. Welcome to A Broadly Speaking. Hey there, friend. Welcome to the Broadly Speaking podcast. My name is Mistel. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm going to pre-apologize for my voice because it sounds a little sick and nasally. Yeah, I can't help it. Today I have a cold and you're just going to unfortunately have to hear it. If this is too much for you, I totally understand, but I want to make it a juicy topic so that you're wanting to listen. This week, we're going to talk about a spicy topic because I want you to go with me straight to the jugular of every Facebook expat group argument ever. And that is, do I get my visa first or do I get my job first? You know that thread, the one where the guy has the same profile picture of him holding a beer and keeps insisting, you have to have a visa first. It's easy. And then 5 comments down, someone else shouts in all caps, you can't get a visa without a job, duh. And suddenly you've got 112 comments, 2 government links, a meme about bureaucracy, and 0 clarity. So yeah, we're going to unpack that today, but not with another here's a step-by-step guide, because that's bullshit and I hate that. You've got Google for that. And frankly, Google's the one that got you into this mess in the first place, so let's not go there. We're going to talk about the mindset, the strategy, and the real-life chaos behind that question, because visa first or job first sounds like a logical decision, but it's actually a false choice. It's the wrong question entirely. Here's the thing. People love binary questions. Visa or job, city or countryside, stay or go. It makes things seem simpler. Like you can tick a box or you can pick a lane or you can just go. But if you've ever tried or thought about moving abroad, well, you're here, so you know it's not a lane. It's a roundabout with no signage where every exit looks like a trap. And there's always one fringe guy who's honking behind you really loudly and an Italian guy who's coming around you even on a one lane road. The truth is, visas and jobs are connected, but they're not dependent in the way people think. You can't really separate them. They're like a toxic situationship. One keeps ghosting you, the other keeps changing the rules, and neither is communicating very clearly. But what most people are really asking when they ask visa first or job first is, how do I make this happen without screwing it up? Or how do I know which thing to focus on so I don't waste months chasing my tail? And that, my friend, that's the real conversation that we need to have. So let's start with the myth of visa first, because it sounds responsible, right? You want to make sure that you're allowed to live in the country before you uproot your entire life and move. Logical, totally sensible. That's the responsible adult move. Except logic assumes that the system is logical. Unfortunately, it's not. Getting a visa first implies you can just, hey, I'm just going to apply. It's like a Amazon Prime order. Click, pay, approve. Congrats, you're European now. Yay! But most visas, especially the ones that actually let you work, require a job offer to even exist. It's the bureaucratic version of a catch-22. You can't work without a visa, but you can't get a visa without work. So you end up in this weird purgatory, Googling countries with easy visas at 2 a.m., half convinced you'll end up milking goats in New Zealand because that's the only place that'll take you. Now, there are countries with visa first options. Those are freelance visas, digital nomads, investors, sometimes spousal, sometimes student, but they all come with their own fine print. Usually that fine print translates to, show us proof you aren't poor, sick, or a giant burden on our economy. So yeah, visa first can absolutely work, but it's not some magical shortcut. It's just a different flavor of bureaucracy, one where you can front load the paperwork instead of the job hunt. Let's talk about the job first baloney, because that's where most Americans start. We're trained for that. We find the job, then sort out the paperwork later. That's how we do it at home. So we assume the system will work the same way abroad, except it doesn't. Because internationally, employers don't always want the headache of sponsoring someone from outside the EU, the UK, or whatever zone they're in, right? And if they do, it's usually because they really need your skills or because you've already made yourself easy to hire. And this is the part where most people get tripped up. They apply to 100 jobs online, they got ghosted by 98 of them, and then they think, wow, maybe I'm not qualified enough. No, friend, you're just playing the wrong game. Most foreign employers don't even see your resume before filtering for already has the right to work. That's not personal, that's policy. They're trying to skip the red tape, not you. So when you start with job first, you're often unknowingly signing up for rejection fatigue. Because unless you're in a field that's in high demand, like tech, healthcare, engineering, and sometimes education, you're absolutely a salmon swimming upstream. Does that mean the job first is wrong? Absolutely not. It means you need to be strategic because job first can absolutely work when you stop playing by American rules. In most of Europe, for example, hiring is slow. Recruiters actually read your cover letters first, not last. They care more about your cultural fit than clever buzzwords. And that bullshit job title you have back in the States, Director of People Happiness. Yeah, that means nothing here, honestly. So you need to translate your experience into something that makes sense internationally, or you'll sound like a LinkedIn parody. So, what's the real answer? And maybe you're thinking if visa first is overly optimistic and job first as often as possible, how the hell do I fucking move abroad then, Mistel? Honestly, the answer is whichever path gives you momentum without draining your sanity or savings. That's it. There is no right answer or correct order. There's just the question, which one moves me forward right now with what I, if that's researching visa options while you're still working your day job, great. If it's tailoring your resume and your cover letter to match foreign hiring standards, great. If it's both, even better. Because what most people don't realize is you're not choosing between visa or job, you're choosing your entry point. You're deciding which system to start talking to first. You can talk to immigration first or employers first, but eventually, somewhere in the middle, you're going to have to meet them both. So the better question isn't visa first or job first, it's which one gives me better leverage? Because that's what makes or breaks your move, leverage. When you have leverage, you can negotiate better. You can pivot. You can choose instead of begging, honestly. When you have neither, well, you're at the mercy of every embassy clerk and every HR intern who ever ghosted you in your life and your application. So you're thinking, great, Mistel, I need leverage. How the hell do I get that? Let's zoom out for a second. Leverage is not luck. It's preparation disguised as confidence. When you show up at an interview and already know the visa type you'd need for them to sponsor you, what documents they'd have to file, how long it takes, that's leverage. You're saving them the work before they ever even ask you. When you walk into an embassy with a stack of organized paperwork, translations already done, insurance quotes in hand, that's leverage. You look like the adult in the room. Leverage doesn't mean you have to be rich or powerful. It just means you've done your homework without losing your sense of humor, hopefully, in the process. And that's what kills me about the visa first or job first debate. It's not about bureaucracy at all. It's 100% about control. Everyone wants to feel like they're steering this ship because honestly, the whole process of moving abroad and uprooting your life and crossing borders, it's inherently disorienting. You feel like your fate is in someone else's hands. So naturally, you start looking for certainty in things. You want to know the order of things, the sequence, the rules. But immigration doesn't give a shit about your sequence. It gives a shit about your paperwork. So instead of asking which one should come first, ask which one gives you traction. If that means researching visa rules while applying for jobs, do both. If it means freelancing for a few months to build income proof for a visa, do it. If it means joining a local expat Slack group and DMing everyone you know about how they got hired, do that too. Because the people who make it abroad aren't the ones who follow a specific order. They're the ones who keep moving even when the order makes absolutely no sense. Now, let's pause for a second and talk about the emotional side because this part often gets overlooked. When you're trying to move abroad, your identity takes a hit. You go from being competent and qualified in your own country to feeling like you're 12 years old again, Googling, how do I prove I'm employable? Every rejection email stings a little bit more. Every visa delay makes you doubt if it's meant to be. And somewhere between updating your resume for the 402nd time this week and translating your degree into another language, you start to lose the plot. You start thinking, maybe I'm not cut out for this, or worse, maybe I just should give up. And let me tell you, the dream you have right now is not too big. It's just bureaucratic, and bureaucracy has a way of making even the most confident person feel stupid. That's not a reflection of your worth. That's a reflection of how badly the system communicates with humans. So if you're in that messy middle at the moment, applying for jobs, half filling out visa forms, drowning in Google tabs, it's not that you're doing it wrong. It's that you're trying to do something unprecedented in your life. You're not just finding a job or filling out a form, you're rewriting your whole life story. So give yourself some grace and then get strategic. So, what would I tell my clients? When people ask me visa first or job first, I usually laugh because that's what really behind it is you want permission. They want to say, here's the order, do this, then do that, and it'll all work out, right? It's easy. But that's not how real life goes. So instead, I say, pick the path that gets you in the room faster. If that's applying for jobs, even if you're not technically eligible yet, do it. Write your cover letter, do the things that you need to do to show that you're the right person for the role, but apply for it. It gets you feedback. You learn what titles translate, what salaries are realistic, what skills pop on an international CV. If instead it means working on a visa application, great. You'll learn the requirements actually are instead of relying on half-baked Reddit threads that are full of bullshit. And maybe, just maybe, one of those paths will open a door you didn't even know existed. The goal isn't to pick one and pray. It's to start somewhere. Start so you can adjust. Start so you can stop asking strangers online to tell you who you are and what you need to do. Because here's the harsh truth. No one's coming to hand you a perfect sequence. The embassy isn't going to send you a letter saying, congratulations, you've unlocked the next step. Here's your golden ticket. It doesn't work like that. You are the project manager here. You are the logistics department. You are the HR rep, the immigration lawyer, the motivational speaker, and the emotional support animal all in one. So stop waiting for the right answer. Pick a direction and move. You can always course correct mid-flight. Now, in practice, most successful moves abroad happen in what I like to call the messy mill. You start job hunting while researching visa routes. You email recruiters while gathering bank statements. You flirt with embassy websites like it's Tinder. You swipe, scroll, screenshot, close a tab before crying. It's chaotic, but it works. Because the truth is, the lines blur once you get started. You'll find visa paths you didn't know existed. You'll talk to employers who offer to sponsor you or to tell you exactly which visa you'd need. You'll discover that the visa first and job first are just two sides of the same hustle. One gives you permission, the other gives you purpose. You'll need both eventually. The order doesn't matter nearly as much as the momentum does. Okay, quick reality check because while optimism is cute, rent is real. Whether you go visa first or job first, you do need a money plan. Not a Pinterest spreadsheet or a vague, I'll figure it out when I get there. I mean actual numbers. Because this is where most people blow up their entire timeline. They think they'll move abroad, job hunt for a few months, and everything will magically work out okay. But if you don't have at least a few months of runway, whether that's savings or remote work, freelancing income, something, you'll burn out before the good stuff happens. Visa first paths often mean no income at first. Job first paths often mean waiting a month or several months for the visas to process. Both require patience, and patience requires money. That doesn't mean you need to be rich. That just means you need to be realistic. Budget like a pessimist so you can move like an optimist. I'm going to throw in a wild card here. because I don't want you to pretend that it's not a factor. And that's bureaucracy. Visas get delays, embassy goes on strike. One missing signature can mean everything has to start all over at the beginning, or it's only a month delay. So whichever you choose, assume it'll take longer than what's promised. Because immigration timelines are basically astrology, vague, unreliable, and dependent on unseen forces. This is why momentum matters more than order. If you've already started the ball rolling, whether it's with a job application or with visa paperwork, you're ahead of the curve. You're in the system, you're on the record, and that's what counts. It's always easier to adjust an application than to start from scratch. So stop obsessing over what should I do first and focus on what can I do next. When you strip all that noise away, you're not asking about visas and jobs. You're asking for permission to start. And you want someone to say, yes, it's okay to go for it, even if you don't have all the answers. So if that's you right now thinking, oh, Miss Dell, I still don't know how to start, here it is. It's okay. Just start. The people who successfully move abroad aren't the ones who figured out the perfect order. They're the ones who got tired of waiting and just started somewhere. They figured it out midair. They built the plane while they were flying it. They adjusted when things went sideways. They sent that one more email, filled out one more form, took one more shot, and eventually those pieces clicked together. They didn't need certainty. You just need commitment. So the next time someone asks you visa first or job first, smile politely and say, neither. Momentum first. Then go do something, anything that moves the needle. Research the visa, apply for the job. I have a brand new community that I'm starting this month called the Departure Lounge, where people have actually done it or in the process of doing it with you that you can talk to. Join the Departure Lounge. But for love of all the croissants and bureaucracy, stop waiting for the right order. The only wrong move is standing still. Because here's the secret no one tells you. Once you start acting like someone who's moving abroad, the opportunities start finding you. People take you seriously, doors open, and the chaos actually starts to make sense. So grab your metaphorical passport, your metaphorical pen, and start writing your exit plan. Because the question isn't visa first or job first. The question is, are you ready to start? If you're ready to jump into the Departure Lounge, I'll drop the information in the show notes below. If you're listening to this live on the 20th of October, we're going to start a 2-day challenge inside the Departure Lounge, which is hosted in Discord. You'll get access to 2 days of how to get started with your visas. So we're going to go visa first conversations, just so you know what those are, how to even get started with that. The Departure Lounge is super easy to get in. It's a monthly membership. We'll have monthly challenges about all of the different things that you need to do to move abroad, so we can hopefully get you out and get you moving in the next 12 months. If you loved this particular episode and you're ready to stop doom scrolling visa forums and actually build your roadmap abroad, please get your ass into the Departure Lounge. It's where we make sense of all this stuff without the nonsense, no fear mongering, or the random guy named Dave who swears he moved to Spain for $300. And I'm still trying to figure out how the F he did that. Inside, like I said, you're going to get structure, clarity, and actual humans who get it and have done it. Because moving abroad shouldn't feel like a guessing game. It is all about your strategy. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to start moving. I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to Broadly Speaking. If today's episode got you dreaming a little bigger or thinking a little braver, go ahead and hit subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who's ready for their own adventure. And hey, don't be a stranger. Come hang out with me over on Instagram at @IamMistel for the real, unfiltered life abroad. Keep that passport handy, and remember, life's too short to stay in one place.